Thursday, April the 16th, 2020. Um, so today, pretty much, I think we're starting to see more highlight on the news of people protesting against the stay-at-home order by the states. So when I talked about North Carolina yesterday, and one of the things that came out was, I think this was yesterday, last night itself, I got a text from a friend outside of the country, outside of US, that pretty much asking, hey, how are things going? I hear the things are getting pretty bad in Michigan. So I start looking it up to find out what was going on, and lo and behold, there's a big group of people that went out there and basically protested against their governor. Pretty much in terms of, hey, the comments is pretty bad, right? They're chanting to lock her up. It's unconstitutional to make people stay at home and things like that. Now, why am I talking about this? I think one of the things that strike me is looking at how people respond to what is going on. And it's similar to along the line of what I do, right? Part of my things that I do is when I go into organization, I help the organizations do change, right? From a traditional waterfall project management style to an agile, more agile approach. And whenever we do that, I see resistance, right? And one of the things that I've heard before was that, hey, we've been here for over 20, 30 years. We've been doing this exactly the same way. You can come and go all you want. I don't need to listen to you, and you will just go away, right? Things will stay the same. In this unprecedented times, I think the new norm is gonna be very different than the norm that we've had in the past. So why are people upset in Michigan? I think I had to look it up. Let's find out why. Number one is this governor is a Democrat, so it is a potential cause where she was very vocal up front against the president, not against, but in terms of a friction with the president, in terms of getting help from the federal level, right? So that is one, and it seems like a lot of people that are upset right now are majority Republicans. This is as far as what I can tell. And it also doesn't help that some of her executive orders doesn't make sense. An example would be is that if you were to go to Home Depot or Lowe's, the big box, stores like that to buy paint or um, fertilizers for your lawn, you're not allowed to. So that causes confusion for the people because they're looking at why can't I do that? If I want to buy materials that I can use at home, I'm still social distancing. I'm still staying home. What? Why is it a problem? So there's some of those confusions in there. So I think that's the part is sometimes our actions of doing certain things does not make sense, and I think she probably will have to look in terms of that. So in that instance, I do understand why the people are confused. Now, it doesn't help because the confusion now add on to the fact that our president is asking for countries, I mean not countries but states to be open. So now that start fueling stuff, and then uh, the other part is that Detroit city in Michigan is pretty much uh, hit pretty badly with the virus, but there are a lot of cities outside in the rural areas that are not. So people are not seeing the issues. They're not seeing deaths. They're not seeing the virus at all. So those people are now saying, "Hey, it doesn't impact me, so therefore I should be open for business." So that's the slippery slope right there in my mind. I think it's like, how do you work in terms of that? So think about, and then what's interesting also, if you think about that, it's not only in the US that we have this issue, right? We have issues similar to, I would say, like Malaysia's, Indonesia's, countries that have areas, small villages that does not have the impact, but then they have to go under lockdown. Why? They don't understand the why, right? So this is part of the things that we'll start seeing. I'm seeing a lot more of this rising now. I think, believe Kentucky is another state that has people protesting against it too. So So we are going to see a lot more. It's not going to help the fact that I think this, I would say, our leader, I don't think he's helping by trying to put blame on others. As a leader, you should stand up and take responsibility for your actions, because what you do, the rest of the people will follow. Uh, Also, I expect to see basically news about where the origins of virus is from. I think we're starting to see today where the U.S. intelligence is looking into a possibility that the virus came from a lab in China. So those news is not going to help because it's going to create more chaos. A lot of scientific people that are doing the research looking into this have said this is one of the possibility, but this is one a minor small possibility, which is not even uh, could be possible, but percentage of it is really, really low. So I think there is sensational news that's been put out there today. The media is trying really hard to not overhype it, but there are news to be made, right? So we have to take with a grain of salt of what we're reading. This is not only just the U.S. media, and this is also the same media that is in Taiwan, in China, and things like that, because they are gonna be people that are protecting their own turf, right? And they're gonna say, hey, U.S., you guys do this and this and that, right? Um, Sadly to say, I am an American and I do not want to be number one in terms of the virus, right? I don't want to be ranked as the highest country or highest state to have the most deaths or most cases. So we are going to see this. I think I'm hoping to see a trend. I'm starting to see a trend where data is showing that we are at a point where we're going to see some sort of breathing room for us. And the good news is seeing the governors working together, trying to figure out how to open the state. That is also what's going on in North Carolina. We're trying to figure out how we're going to open the state. And even when we open the state, I think it's going to be a lot different, in terms of what it's going to like, because the virus is still around. So there's a lot of precaution that has to be out there. Do we trust anybody? Anytime when I have some small symptom, I get worried. Is it COVID-19? So some of that is out there. So that's it for today. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully, I'll get to share much better news with all of you. Bye.